guys, it's Lord Bolter here with another video, and it's the first week in 2025, and we already have new Ubisoft L's. Yes, fresh off of their laying low for a bit holiday vacation for Christmas, to which, at the beginning of the month, right before Christmas, they fired a whole bunch of people. But they did lay low during the holidays, but now that the holidays are officially over, they are back, everyone. Ubisoft is back and in the news again, and for all the wrong reasons as usual. Because GameRanks has just put out this article, and they're calling out all the problems with Ubisoft that we've been calling out for a while. The article is entitled, Ubisoft Stock Price Hits Record Lows to Start Off New Year. The article states, as noted by Tech4 Gamers, the company has had a record drop of 45% in stock value over the last year, which isn't good for a company that's trying to not just stay afloat, but remain one of the top tier third-party developers out there. It also should be noted that this is just the latest in a long fall for the company. Over the last 5 years, the company's stocks have fallen. Over the last 5 years, the company's stocks have fallen by an incredible 79%. They then get into the interesting reasons why they think this happened. The first and foremost, they say, is the focus of Ubisoft has been incredibly off the last few years. The company has been focused on making big games without exactly caring about the quality of those titles. That's what led to certain games almost being rushed out before they were ready, or dropping games and then getting a huge backlash from fans about what should have been added or taken out, and so on. Yes, Ubisoft as a developer has essentially become the Michael Bay of the gaming industry. Big, spectacular messes that are an overload for your eyes, that you enjoy for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and when it comes to plot and actual characters, are pretty shallow. The article then goes on to say, then there was the fact that the company kept hyping up certain big titles that were coming out in 2023 and 2024, with basically none of them living up to expectations, and a certain pirate title, Skull and Bones, being a complete disaster. Oh, and that pirate title, Skull and Bones, was labeled by the company CEO to be a quadruple A game, and as of now, there are barely 400 people playing it on Steam. 400 people, yeah, that's being really, really kind. But so far, the article has hit the nail on the head. Ubisoft has been a company that's always tried to do too much. Ubisoft is like that kid in high school who was captain of the debate team, was on the football team. He was getting all A's and trying to be valedictorian, dating the hottest cheerleader and all that. And then he slips up on one thing, and then that carries over into another thing and another thing, and next thing you know, he's an absolute mess. That's what's happened to Ubisoft here. They spread themselves way too thin and had people involved in their gaming company that should not have been there, were not qualified to be there. They wanted to turn out blockbuster hit after blockbuster hit over and over and over, rake in those AAA big title dollars. And you just can't do that yearly, year after year after year after year. At some point, you gotta put an extensive break between games. Even as gamers, we understand that. It's become such a bad problem in the gaming industry right now that a lot of times when I hear that there's going to be a big break between a game I like and its sequel, I think that's a good thing, because it means they might actually care about it and take their time developing something good. Another issue is the culture of the company, which has repeatedly attacked gamers for not being, it says games, I assume they mean gamers, or not knowing what they want. When gamers emphatically know what they want. They want great games. And they're not talking about this extensively. They're mainstream media. I don't really expect them to. But what they are alluding to here is the problem of wokeness and DEI in gaming. Now, when I talk about wokeness and DEI in gaming, I mean the hiring of unskilled professionals that are supposed to be skilled at their profession into the gaming industry. Now, a lot of times that has to do with actual DEI, discriminating and hiring people based upon their skin color or their sexual preferences or gender identity or whatever. And a lot of times, yeah, they want to put that, self-insert that kind of agenda into their gameplay, into the video games. But we also have to remember that a lot of these people They weren't held to standards when they actually went to school to study what they were studying. A lot of them didn't even go to school to become gaming developers. They have zero experience on developing games. I mean, we just had an article come out a couple months ago that said half the developers of Assassin's Creed Shadows had never worked on a video game before. So yeah, when you see the genderless, square-jawed females with penises in video games, yeah, it's self-inserted stuff, that's agenda stuff. But also, if you wanted these developers to make something that wasn't that, I don't think they have the skills to do that. Because it's all they've ever known, or all they really want to ever draw. They don't know how to develop mechanics. They don't know how to develop these different kinds of characters, do these different kinds of drawings. No one held them to the standard to actually learn. It's not just a DEI and wokeness problem. It's a skills problem. Yet when even you point this out and say it's not just the DEI stuff, it's also they're unskilled and shitty at their job, you still get called fake gamer, chud, far right, yada yada yada. And yes, while I do have a problem with that and wish you would leave your ideology at the door, I also have a bigger problem with that. Even if you did do that, I don't think you could do your job. The GameRanks article states, from CEO to others in the company, they've released statements, they being Ubisoft, have released statements blaming gamers for their woes when Ubisoft itself has had massive layoffs, strikes against certain branches of the company, and more. Yeah, the whole strikes and going back to work in the office issue is a completely different thing that I kind of take Ubisoft's side on. But meanwhile, while this is all happening and the mainstream media is actually, taking Ubisoft to task a little bit here, we also have this. Steam users are review bombing Assassin's Creed Origins because Microsoft's 24H2 Windows update has bricked the game. This comes to us from IGN. It states in November of 2024, Microsoft confirmed that Windows 11 version 24H2 accidentally killed Ubisoft games such as Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and more. The issue was so bad that Microsoft updated its support website to reveal it had placed a temporary block on Windows 11 for users with those games installed. Ubisoft released an update to fix the problem in Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, for all 10 people that are playing that game, but Microsoft and Ubisoft are both still working to sort out the Assassin's Creed games, and frustration has finally spilled over into Steam user reviews. It's probably because if this thing is affecting all Assassin's Creed games, you're talking about a bunch of different Assassin's Creed games that were pretty hefty games when they came out for their own generations, and probably all have to be gone through individually because they're so wildly different over decades. That is, when you get down to the mechanics, bones and tissue of the actual game. That said, negative reviews for Assassin's Creed Origins ramped up mid-December before hitting a peak as we crossed into 2025, with the game's recent user reviews rating dropping to mixed. Overall, reviews still remain at very positive. Pretty much all the recent negative reviews complain about Windows Update making Assassin's Creed Origins unplayable. So here they are, in their darkest hour, when their stock prices are at record lows, when even the mainstream media is taking out articles calling them absolute idiots, and their flagship franchise is bricked on Steam. You think that would have been the priority one to fix of all the game franchises they had on there with this Windows 11 update problem. But no, apparently it came last. But that's just the ass backwards way that I guess Ubisoft is ran nowadays. The way they put style over substance. The way they make brilliant decisions about which games to axe, like X-Defiant, and which games to keep, like Skull and Bones. It's just none of it makes any sense. And if I gotta be honest with you, I don't really see why Tencent would even want to buy them out at this point. I just shut the whole thing down and start selling off IPs, try to recoup some kind of investment. But the truth is that's not going to happen. Tencent is probably going to buy them out, or somebody's going to come in with them, help gobble up everything. Some of the assets are probably going to be sold off. I would not be surprised if Far Cry is definitely on the trading block. Pretty much everything might be on the trading block except Assassin's Creed, because that is the holy grail of Ubisoft, right? But anyway, this is my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it. We'll talk to you again later.